and John Matisse, and we will be interviewing John Hamilton at Pontiac Township High School. Mr. Hamilton was born November 15th, 1929. He served in the 15th Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division of the Army during the Korean War. He was a first lieutenant in Korea and also a colonel. He was located at Fort Benning, Camp Cook, and Korea.
What branch of service did you join?
I joined the Army National Guard, the infantry company here in Pontiac, a local company, in March 31st, 1947. I can kind of go on with it if I want. I was in college at the time, and after I got out of college, by that time the Korean War started, and our unit was activated into active duty. In 1951, I had kind of a busy year. I was married in September, went on active duty in November, so I remember the dates. We went to Fort Benning, my wife and I, the infantry officer basic course. It was a very demanding course, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, but they worked you very, very hard. About, what was it, 3 or 4 months there, then we had a house trailer. That's an experience. We pulled it out to California, to Camp Cook, California, and we made it. A bunch of our friends had some problems. We were very, very fortunate. I spent 6 months at Camp Cook as infantry platoon, learning the trade and so forth. It was rather challenging, but a great experience. Met a lot of real nice people, and that was fun. I enjoyed it. Tough training. Their job was to train us, and they did. Received orders to go to Korea after there about 6 months. We came home, usual 30 days leave here. Then we went back to Mom and Dad and Pat. We all went back out to Camp Stillman, California. That's where I grew up from Korea. Kind of a long story there. There was, we got out there and you say the usual goodbyes and all that sort of thing. And I got on the airplane and had engine trouble. Couldn't get it off the ground. So we got off and I called the motel and said, hey, I'm still here. Come back. And they did. And next day, same procedure, goodbyes and all that. That day, it was too much weight. 2 guys are bumped off, and I was one of them. So, same thing over again. Call the family, say I'm still here, come back, and all that. 3rd day was a charm. They finally got the darn thing off the ground, and on our way to Korea. One thing did happen there, was kind of sad, very sad in fact. I met a friend of mine there, and he called home. And a very close friend of mine, we were commissioned together, was killed in Korea just a few days before. And it really brought it home that this was for real, no laughing matter. Because we were a good friend, he was a very, very competent individual. Got to Japan, usual processing there, 2 or 3 days, and they shipped us off to Korea. We flew over. I got a map here, maybe this will kind of help explain to you where it was. We flew in to Jeju to refuel and up to Seoul. Then at Seoul had the 3rd Repo Company, 3rd Replacement Company. And they were all there. Then I was assigned to the 15th Regiment, 3rd Division. It's up in Chorwan. And that's where I spent most of my time in the war, is in the Chorwan Valley. That's the main avenue of approach down to Seoul. In other words, when the communists from the north would attack, they go through the best possible avenue of approach. This is a good valley. That's where they came. So there's a lot of heavy fighting there.
What was basic training like in the National Guard and the Army?
Infantry is challenging. They want you in good condition. You have to be able to fire all the basic weapons. In my case, I was second lieutenants, I had to know tactics and so forth, map reading, first aid, all the basics, and they did a good job teaching.
What wars or battles did you serve in, and when and where did you serve?
The battles I fought in, I had 9 months of combat in the Korean War. Most of it was in the Chorwan Valley. That is about enough, I guess. I had my, in the States here, I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, Camp Cook, California, then overseas. After I got back, I stayed in the full-time Army National Guard. I did a lot of traveling, but in the Korean War, that was basically it.
What was it like when you arrived in Korea?
It's an experience that we had very good training, but I don't think I can ever really train you for exactly what it's like. It's a different experience. But no, we had good training, and they kept us at regiment for several. They had, what was it, 6 or 7 lieutenants, young lieutenants, who were going to go out. Were going to be platoon leaders, and they sent us around to the various units, get briefed, kind of get acquainted, get our feet on the ground. Great idea, because it's like day and night. It's very difficult for me to explain to you the difference here, there. Real difference, the real difference. I remember the young lieutenant bunk next to me, alphabetical order for what everyone in the Army is. Harrington, Lieutenant Harrington, nice guy, we talked a lot. On his first patrol, he was ambushed, he was killed, most of his patrol was killed, and that, I'd never forgotten that. Those things, the names, you don't forget that. Yeah, we had a lot of good times, a lot of difficult times too, because it's, it's for real. That's the best way I can describe it.
You've already said that you've seen combat in Korea. Did you have any other assignments while you were there?
I was a platoon leader, then company exec officer. Little story there. I was promoted to first lieutenant, and it's rather unique the way I was promoted. I guess is a good way to say it. Over in Korea, it had shower points. You would take a shower back behind the lines quite a ways. We never got back there, on rare occasions. You take a bath, you pour water in the helmet, take a bath. Well, I was in the bunker one day when I thought it was quiet, nothing much doing. So I was in there just scrubbing away. One of the other troops was over there, and I just glanced up at him, and he turned kind of pale. I said, my God, the Chinese are here. I turned around. It was Colonel Stillwell, the regimental commander. He said, Lieutenant, put your clothes on, assume the position of attention. I thought to myself, I said, yes, sir, of course. I thought, what in the world did I do now? So I snapped to attention, got my clothes on. Lieutenant, I'm going to promote you to first lieutenant. Pulled out a silver bar. It made his whole day. It scared me half to death, but it made his whole day. But that's how I got promoted to first lieutenant. That was kind of unique. Most people aren't promoted that way, I don't think. I was very lucky in Korea. I was blessed. I had some outstanding NCOs, non-commissioned officers, good sergeants. And when you first get over there, there's no way you're going to know what's happening. I don't care how well trained you are, it's just you just don't. And these NCOs, I respected them, I listened to them, and I'm alive now. That's the way to answer that. They were great, and they taught me, and after a while I learned. I made first lieutenant, and I was then company executive officer. I was back at company headquarters and a little better deal. About that time, spring, early summer, we had quite a engagement. It was Outpost Harry. I guess the picture I'll show you. Received an award for the Bronze Star Beaver Bell and all that. Here's the general order that tells a whole lot. Basically, what it was. This Outpost Harry was a hill. In fact, I may have a picture. I can find it. Somewhere here, I think. It was a high, the Army calls it key terrain. It's critical terrain. If you own this, you own the ground around it, because you have observation, you can see. If you can see, you can adjust fire, you can shoot, so that you own the area. This is key terrain. We owned it, the Chinese wanted it. They had a division up against us. And the 11th of June, for about a week, as I recall, we were under very heavy attack. The first night, I led a infantry platoon, a tank platoon, out to the right side of this hill. And we had excellent fields of fire. We could cover the ingress and egress going in and out. Very, very effective. About daybreak, we were called over the radio to pull back in. I remember as we were coming back, I saw an infantry line company going up to replace the unit that was up there the night before, because there wasn't many of them left. Very few of them left. That's a sight I will never forget. I live to be 100. The company was going up there, perfect formation, really doing everything correctly. I was made you so proud. 24 hours later, the vast majority of them either killed in action, missing in action, or wounded in action. They really, really got chewed up. And they knew it. Those people knew it going up there. But they did it anyway. Those guys were the ones that deserved all the awards. I don't know what they received, but boy, they sure received something. They paid the ultimate price. And I'm very proud to be an American soldier. After that, the war kept on going, and it ended in July. I was up on line the day it ended. That was an experience. First, we heard rumors the war was going to end. Didn't believe it, just rumors. Then, I think around 10 in the morning, we got the word it would end that night about 2200, that's 10 p.m. And that's a good idea, overdone, but didn't really believe it. And someone from back Corps Division somewhere said, no, expand all your ammunition. That means shoot up all your crew serve weapon ammunition. So when you pull back, you have to carry it. Makes sense. So we proceeded to shoot up Chinese positions, everything. And about a quarter of, we finished firing and settled down, About 5 minutes of 10. The Chinese cut loose on us. I've never been shelled so hard in my whole life. And at 10 o'clock, bingo, it stopped. And I know how I felt. I think the rest of them felt the same way. I do not want to have the distinction of being the last to die. After all we've been through, that wouldn't be fair. No, I think all felt the same way. Then it's complete ceasefire. Quiet. Because it was eerie because there'd been always so much noise and so forth. And all of a sudden, perfect quiet. Unbelievable. I rotated home then, about a month later. Came back and I farmed with my dad for a few years. I went back full-time in the Army National Guard and I retired 20 years later out of that. Something you may want to see, here's a couple of pictures. Let's see. That's when my hair is still brown. It's not that way anymore. I'm over there in Korea. And let's see, what else we have here. To show you the difference, I went through Seoul in '53. It's devastated, really, really shot up. I went back over the family in, I believe it was 95. Little background information so it'll make sense to you. Our two sons went to medical school on a military health profession scholarships. In other words, the military put them through military school, through medical school, and they were the service X number of years. Scott was a Navy doctor. He ended up with a tour of the 3rd Marines on Okinawa. And they deployed her to South Korea. He met his future wife, Suk Young, and they were married, had 4 great kids. And we went back there in 95 to visit them. The family really showed us around. And I got to see the before and after. This is the before. I'll show you what the after was. I'll find some pictures here. Took a picture of Seoul. It's a beautiful city. As I remembered in '53, there wasn't much there. Now it's a beautiful place. It really is very cosmopolitan, very nice. It shows you what can happen. It works beautifully. Democracy and everything, it does work. Capitalism, it does work. You go north to North Korea. People are starving, really, really bad. They're just the exact opposite. Point I want to make there, I lost some very close friends. I told you that when I got the word a good friend of mine was killed and I heard about it. His family was devastated. He had a wife and I believe it was a daughter, as I recall, and he wasn't there to help raise him. His dad was, in later years, my battalion commander. And he sometimes get mixed up and call me Bill. My name is John. He got me, completely devastated. They paid a terrific price. And I wondered at times, was this worth it? Then I got over there in '95 and the contrast between then and now. The real contrast between South Korea and North Korea. Millions of people were free. Yeah, it was worth it. I mean, and that's my opinion. You're historians and students of history. You both are students of history. You be more objective than I am. I was emotionally involved. But I thought about it, and yeah, I think it was worth it. We paid a terrific price, but yeah, it was worth it, in my opinion. Sometimes you have to step back and look at things from a broader picture to really see it. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Some pictures here I took when I went over the family in '95. This is a funny deal. Family hired a van to take us up there, quite a few, bunch of kids and everything, take us up there to the DMZ. The drivers talked to them in Korean, and my Korean is very limited. So they wanted me to ask, you fight over here? I was 3rd Division. The driver, you who? 3rd Division. Found out we had some Koreans assigned to various units. He was assigned to the 3rd Division, same time I was there. He started talking to him in English, and we knew some of the same people. What are the law of averages for that to happen? One of them, how many million? I don't know, but it happened. I had a picture of him. I'd be darned, I couldn't find it last night. Somewhere in the house, we have a picture of he and I together. I wish I could have found it to show it to you. It was great. But anyway, we had a real tour. We ended up about where our division headquarters was. Outpost area, that area was on the other side of the DMZ. That's North Korea, North Korean side. But we found everything looked kind of familiar. And while we were there, a Iraq division, we call them Iraq, Republic of Korea, tough people, good soldiers, were maneuvering there. So we stopped and talked to them. Here's a picture. It shows the grandkids. Now they're big kids, how big as I am now, but that was a number of years ago. And it shows the Koreans. We talked to them, I had a lot of questions, and a lot of them spoke English, and Suk Young could interpret for me. So we had quite a conversation. I talked about their equipment and everything, and it was great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The highest respect for them. They're good soldiers. good soldiers.
What other awards or medals did you receive while in service?
Oh, let's see, combat infantry badge, we had a unit citation, I think 3 battle stars, UN ribbon, that sort of thing.
How were you able to keep in touch with your family while you were in Korea?
Now you guys have email and all that sort of thing, cell phones, didn't have it in those days. Wrote a letter, I'd write as much as I could, and on R&R, I had 2 on R&Rs, each time I had an R&R, I would call home. You got to Japan, I had telephones there, you could call home. Korea, where I was nothing. So I called home twice when I was over there, and letters, that's about it.
Was there always enough food and supplies for everyone when you were overseas?
I lost a couple pounds, needless to say, but no, the food for what they had to work with was very good. We called them sea rations then. I think they're calling them meals related to eat now or something like that, but same thing. We had those, and you can survive. And we'd have hot meals whenever the situation would allow. Yeah, the equipment was good. We had, winters were cold. It was cold. The troops at first over there didn't have the winter equipment. They suffered very, very badly. We had decent boots, and it was cold, but you know, it was okay. Oh, we had good equipment. Good equipment.
What did you do for entertainment while you were serving?
Over there, when you're in combat, there's not a lot of free time. I like to read. If I get a good book, I can just kind of lose myself. I enjoy that. Back behind the lines, we sports. That's always great. Political cards, that sort of thing. You're sometimes a lot of activity. Sometimes it's kind of boring, but you keep busy.
What did you do while you were on leave?
On R&R, I had 2 on R's to Japan. What we did, I tried to forget the war. I had 5 days to forget it. That's what I tried to do. Ate some really great food, a few adult beverages, sightseeing. I remember the first one was in March, and the Emperor's Palace in Tokyo had the cherry blossoms were just coming out. Beautiful, beautiful sight. I remember that. And just do like everyone else, had a good time. Had 5 days to forget it, I did.
You already told us about where you were when the war ended, but is there anything else you want to add to that?
I think I want to add something about after the war. I was on a Nike site. I went full-time again in 1960. As battery commander of a Nike site. That's an air defense unit. You want to talk about? Shoot missiles at airplanes. Okay. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, October 1962, as I recall the dates, things were more touch and go than most people realized. My battery was on DEFCON 5, Advanced Readiness Condition 5. That's where your maintenance and, you know, no big deals. All of a sudden we went up to DEFCON 2, and that's you're ready to shoot. You expect real trouble. What it was, we thought the Russian bombers were coming in. That's what we expected. My family was here in Pontiac. I was fortunate. A lot of my men, my families were in Chicago as a prime target area. They felt apprehension for their family. But our mission, our job was to stay there and be ready to fire. That's exactly what we did. We were. Luckily, it didn't happen. But it was much closer than many, many people think. If you ever get a chance to read up on the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's good reading. I played a very small part in it, and seen the rest of it. My unit was a good unit. They had a commendation we received for it. So it was good memories.
Did you make any friends over in Korea that you still are in contact with now?
Yeah, for a while, a couple of my sergeants would get together every so often. One was from Dakota. Another one from the east. Not knowing where. And as you, I'm what, 76, and you just drift away from it. But yeah, we did very close relationship. The Korean War Memorial dedication. We have a big monument in Washington, D.C. now for the Korean War Memorial. Family and I went back for that. And my old division, old regiment was there. And, some people, yeah, it was a great feeling. A great feeling. I should spend more time, I suppose, going back, that sort of thing, but I'm still working. My family, my grandkids, everything. I just don't give much. I probably should.
Thank you for your interview. It was
Thank you. It was my pleasure, and you two did an excellent job. Thank you very much.